However, right now we have our guest joining us. So Camille, please do the honors.
Well, welcome to both of you. First of all, we have Dr. Isaac Jones joining us from America to talk about our drugs expert, and we have our expert, Dr. Ismail Abbas, joining us as well. So we'd like to welcome you both to the program. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. And we will, of course, our topic is the reception celebration and honoring the expert participation in the activities of World Drug Day. So, gentlemen, what could you tell us about the reception and the celebration and the honoring of the participation in the World Drugs Day?
Yeah, it's been just an incredible experience. They put so much time and effort into bringing the top people, the top influencers in Saudi, as well as around the world, to this reception. And so the reception was filled with a lot of hope and optimism about what we can accomplish together in the future. The United Nations was there and was present, as well as just faculty and PhDs from all these universities across the world. So it was very good. We both engaged certificates and congratulated each other on the accomplishments that we've made and, of course, that we're going to be making in the future.
That truly is incredible. And since our main topic of discussion is regarding the World Drug Day, and it indeed is like a phenomena that not only Saudi Arabia but the entire world is in crisis with. Drugs are definitely something that we are all trying to fight off as a little criminal in our society. So tell us as to what are the objectives that you all have as an organization in order to fight back the drugs.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Abbas?
No,
okay,
go ahead.
yeah. You know, there needs to be a multimodal approach to really fighting drugs and helping prevent it in the first place. I think we could use America as the perfect model of what not to do, whereas they spend around $497 billion a year on cleaning up the mess of drugs. Out of that, they only spend, out of the $497 billion, they only spend 1% of that on prevention. So all the countries, they need to focus more on prevention. As I was hearing you talk about washing your hands earlier, we need to wash our hands before we get the disease, right? We need to cleanse our bodies before we develop these problems, these issues. And in countries, we need to prevent, take a more preventative approach before of course, it goes down the path of people becoming addicted and then obviously creating a huge problem for themselves, their family, their social circles, as well as the nation at large.
So of course, what you're saying, Dr. Jones, is that prevention is better than cure,
exactly.
Which of course is always true. But in saying that, how can we raise awareness, and especially in a society like Saudi Arabia, how can we raise the awareness of the drug problems or the problems that people can still have with drug abuse, even in a society like this?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one of the great organizations of our day is a Foundation for a Drug-Free World. And it's the largest organization in the world that disperses educational information all across the world to really inform people about the lies that people believe about what drugs can bring them. And so when you educate the younger generations on the truth about the damaging effects that this can have on your body, on your mind, and on your future, you know, it creates a different approach. Now you combine that with cultivating a culture of health and wellness, cultivating a culture where people are very conscious of their health, their thoughts, their activities and what they do. You know, you're going to see an incredible change within the culture as a whole.
Definitely. And Dr. Abbas, I would like to ask you, as to being in the Middle Eastern region and considering the effects of drugs and the usage of drugs in this particular part of this world, there is not a very high number of people who actually are involved in drug activities. However, there is still a significant number of people who do engage with drugs. tell us as to how do you believe we can just try and minimize the effects of how people are picking up the habit of drugs, because now we see even the youngsters, they are getting appealed and attracted towards using drugs just because they saw it in perhaps a movie or they saw some druggie doing it. So how do you assume are the ways that we can prevent our future generations from getting the habit?
First of all, I would like to thank the Princess Al Anoud organization about this great events, which bringing all the experience all together, and especially they are going to try to make now and to build the organization to be under one roof with all different occurring from different sides. That's a great job they are doing. About that one, we can do the that one about the prevention of the disease and the prevention of the use of drugs. And with the behavioral change, it's very important to concentrate on that one, and the health creation and the life balance at the same time.
Absolutely. And coming to you, Mrs. Jones, I would also like to ask you as to, well, there are a lot of the times that when a person has just started using drugs, they are more prone to leave it if they are asked and they are criticized in the proper way. If the awareness is raised within the family that yes, this child or this adult is using drugs in this particular part of my family, then perhaps they can push them in order to leave the habit. At an early phase, it is perhaps easier than, of course, in the later phases when you are absolutely addicted. Absolutely. So tell us as to how is it that a family or perhaps even your friends can find out as to how is my friend using a drug and what can I do in order to be, helping them?
Right, that's a great question. One of the major keys, I think, in this is that the family has to have a very high expectation of their children. They need to really convey a concern about the use of drugs within the home. And the process of approaching them in love, and saying, we really care about you, we're really concerned about your future, and then showing them examples of what could happen that aren't good, and then telling them, because I love you so much, we need you to stop this, or else, these are the repercussions, and before it gets to that point, I will be taking action, and bringing you to a facility so that you can get help or something along those lines. One of the recommended places to go in Saudi Arabia is Dr. Abbas's clinic. Actually, his clinic is a full detoxification clinic. It's called Refresh. It's right off of what's the road? King Fahd Road. So right downtown there. And it's just, I walked into it. It's comparable to the nicest health centers in America, so it's very incredible. And I also do want to thank the Al Anoud Foundation, as well as Prince Saud bin Fahad, yes, for having us here as well. So.
Gentlemen, I think what you're both doing is absolutely great thing, of course, bringing awareness of the big drug problem that we face in the world, in every country, whichever country it is, of course, in the world. But talking about the drug problem again, in Saudi Arabia specifically, could you tell us anything about, obviously, everybody, drug abusers start using drugs for different reasons, whatever the reasons are. But is there a particular reason in this society that perhaps pushes them towards it more than in the Western society, or Dr. Abbas?
Yeah. We can also we can find a lot of solution on the drug prevention or to help peoples, and one of the things we notice it's the on the side it's the health of the addict peoples, which really we need to take care about it, which from two sides. One side, when we take about from his health side, we can make sure he will be in the good excellent health in the future. On the other side, when we clean his body from all the toxins and from mind, we make sure he's not going to go again for it's not easy to go again for the drugs when he make detox, because the image in his mind, it will be more clear and more clean, so it will help him also not to go to the again take the drugs again.
But sorry, Dr. Abbas, what I mean is what sort of starts them off in the first place? I mean, everybody has a different situation, I know, so you can, I'm just saying generally speaking, what would start people in the direction of drug abuse?
I would say it's probably very similar to what it is over in America. You know, culturally, we see images of cool people that are, you know, in movies or on television that are doing these types of things. And I didn't realize how much the American culture has infiltrated even this society with the television shows, etc. So kids are getting exposed to this.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on top of that, they might have a person close to them, like a cousin or a friend who might be, you know, somebody who came from the outside the culture and came in and exposed them to these types of things. So I think there's, again, a multimodal approach to this. Another thing I will say is that when people are very filled with toxins, as Dr. Abbas said, and we're seeing an epidemic of bioaccumulation of toxicity from environmental toxins to biotoxins at an unprecedented level we've never seen before in the history of mankind. And these children and these adults, their bodies are like buckets, right? So these toxins, they stockpile within the body over time. And as these toxins, they stockpile in the body, like water filling up a bucket, over time, the bucket will start to overflow. And this overflowing of the bucket is the result of that on a physiological level is symptoms start to form. And so when people have these symptoms, these physiological symptoms, they want to alleviate the symptoms. It might cause depression, it might cause just a feeling of anxiety or anger. And so the way to escape that through escapism type techniques, one of the ways is, of course, doing drugs.
Sure. Absolutely. And sir, since you're visiting us from the United States of America, and we do know that America is not only, well, let's say one of the leading nations in the political world, but also when it comes to media. Everybody who watches television would just randomly go towards an American channel. It is just natural habit. So everyone does just randomly, even the kids, they would watch American cartoons, the teenagers would watch teenage shows, the adults would go watch American news. So it is all about the American media. However, when we see the Middle Eastern media, we do not see the usage of drugs, not on television at all. There is absolutely nowhere that I have seen flipping through any Middle Eastern channel that there is going to be any sight of a person using drugs. So smoking is different. And of course, the using of hubbly bubbly that we call shisha over here is different. But the usage of drugs is absolutely nowhere. So from the media, the attraction of drugs actually comes from that part of the world, from that side of the world. So what is your country trying to do? Like, of course, we really look forward to the fabulous Hollywood celebrities. And the young teenagers take them as role models. And even though they do not take drugs in their personal lives, when they act it out in a movie in a fabulous role, it really does seem like Superman having drugs. So it really is an appealing image to a young mind. So tell us as to perhaps some motions taking place by your government in order to be at least minimizing the effects of drugs being used on the television, because we see it in the soap operas, we see it in the television series, we also see it in the movies. It's quite damaging.
Yeah. Again, they're lies that are being perpetrated into the minds of younger people, right? So in order to reverse those lies, we need to show them the truth about what's really going on and what's happening in the lives of these actors and actresses. And so in order to do that, there needs to be educational programs that are implemented within the school systems, within businesses, etc., so that people can be educated on the truth about what is truly going on. And it shows very specific images of what the movies make it look like in contrast to what their lives look like. So they get to see behind the scenes. And again, a Foundation for a Drug-Free World is doing that, and a lot of the doctors, the PhDs at the seminar are using different strategies to be able to do that. But I think when you show them the images, it burns a scar in their brain. They say, "Oh my gosh, I don't want any of that," you know, and they realize the lie behind the kind of idealistic image that the media puts up. So.
And now, guys, can I ask you about any new methods for the treatment of addiction, drug addicts, and rehabilitation, or the prevention of addiction? Are there any new methods?
Yes,
and,
there are.
Yes, we can.
Would you like to tell us about?
Yeah. There is a new health model now. It's all around America and other countries, running by huge of doctors. On the top is Dr. John also running that one all around the world, which it's really great. One concentrating on especially the two sides, the completely the health side and the other side, which is behavioral change. Where the health side, it's like complete. It's like complete curing from nutrition, specific nutrition, and also the specific fitness programs. And at the same time, it's also the about about the lifestyle, how to be more healthy. On the other side, a lot of it's a bad habit. People need to be a change. Also in that zone, new health model going to change a lot of things. So we want to make sure also he will not go back to that zone of taking drugs.
Yeah. I think just to add on, if you don't mind, some of the amazing, just feats that we've had over in America in the realm of research and science is that we now have very advanced strategies for detoxification, and through the process of the psychosocial, cultural aspect, we can use some very advanced, what they call neurolinguistic programming strategies to help retrain the brain so that not only are you removing the toxins, the physical toxins, but you're also removing the psychological toxins as we were talking about before. And the new health model, it embodies that. And the three essentials of the new health model is to create purity by removing toxicity, to optimize nutrients by removing nutrient deficiencies, and then by maximizing relationships. And that also plays a role psycho-socially and spiritually. There's some really great research, even at this conference, that shows that the spiritual aspect and children and people that adopt like a spiritual lifestyle actually overcome the addiction of drugs and have an overall health, a higher quality of life and a healthier life as well. So.
Most definitely, and that is all what we all are definitely aspiring to look for, a healthier, better lifestyle.
Absolutely.
But since we are running out of time, really quickly, I would like to ask both of you gentlemen the one last question as to there must have been a bigger motive for this entire meeting, and I'm sure a lot of good has already came out of it, and we are definitely wishing you all the very best for such future meetings and gatherings, as it is definitely for the best of our society. But please tell us as to what were the most highlighted outcomes of this particular meeting. Coming to you, Doctor.
It's especially I get surprised about the ozone treatment. It was really a very amazing one. A lot of different, that's the things we can see, the all kind of experience with a different field. Then we really see a lot of new strategies. But we recommend all, we hope to be all together with coordination with all this kind of treatments to do the best.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, actually, guys, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but we just want to thank you very much for joining us today on the program, and of course, raising this extremely important issue. And thank you for both being with us. Dr. Jones and Dr. Abbas, thank you both. And we hope that you will come back again, perhaps, and be again a guest on Good Morning.
We'd love to.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.